right? This is a really spicy pick as far as the Remix Cup is concerned. Immediately going to save switch in my Shadow Machamp here, and they actually come in with the Gengar. I'm going to go straight for the Payback right now. Let's see if we can land a Payback, and it just one-shots the Gengar. That is... What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So the Remix Cup is finally here in Go Battle League, and for my first few sets of battles, I decided to try out a really strong team comp, basically consisting of Registeel, Jellicent, and Shadow Machamp. And if you're looking for a solid team as far as the Remix Cup is concerned, then this is it, because this team pretty much has coverage against majority of the meta, right? And also they cover up each other's weaknesses perfectly. I mean, obviously you have Registeel, which can provide coverage against all of Machamp's weaknesses, and then Jellicent provides coverage against Registeel's weaknesses to fire and fighting. And obviously Machamp can also handle some normal and dark types, which Jellicent would otherwise struggle against, right? So like I said, this team honestly worked really well for me, and let's just get straight into these battles. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be leading with Registeel, with Jellicent as the safe swap and Shadow Machamp as the closer. And between Shadow Machamp and Registeel, you can handle almost everything in the meta as long as you can win switch advantage with Jellicent, right? So we have Registeel into a Crustle. This is such a solid matchup right now because obviously Flash Cannon, because of that steel typing on Registeel. So they do shield up the Flash Cannon, which is fine. I'm going to let this go through. Both Bug and Rock type moves are resisted. It's just a Rock Blast, which almost does nothing to Registeel. They actually make a switch into their Hypno. I'm going to go into my Jellicent here. And yeah, I'm just going to try and go for the Shadow Ball as soon as possible. Honestly, Crustle doesn't really have too much play against this entire team. I guess this entire team beats Crustle, right? So I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball here. It's going to obviously be super effective against Hypno because of that Psychic typing, and pretty much one-shots it right there. And then, yeah, let's see what they decide to bring in. They actually come back with their Crustle, so I'm going to try and get to this Shadow Ball as soon as possible here. And I think it ends up being a CMP tie loss. I'm going to let this go through. I'm really hoping that we can survive a Rock Blast. It is just a Rock Blast and we barely survived that, and then I'm just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball right now. This is probably going to one-shot the Crustle from this range if it goes unshielded. Let's see what they decide to do here. It nearly one-shots it actually, and they actually make a switch into their Registeel. I'm going to come in from Machamp here, and this is pretty much GG's right now, right? I mean, this is one of those scenarios where we had the perfect hard counters lined up all the way through, and yeah, they let the cross chop go through. I'm going to be able to counter down. I'm going to shield this up, obviously. I'm going to be able to counter down, and then I should be able to counter down the Crustle as well there. So this is gonna, and yeah, they basically decided to give up the match because there was basically no win condition for them there. So Crustle, I think, is a pretty solid option. I mean, especially considering that Charizard is actually a pretty solid pick as far as an anti-meta option is concerned. And yeah, Crustle is probably one of the hardest Charizard counters you'll see, right? And also, I mean, it can really handle some of the other fire types, some bug types like Beedrill, etc. But it pretty much has no play against this entire team comp. So moving into the second battle, we have Registeel into a Jumpluff here. Again, a very positive lead. Jumpluff can do absolutely nothing against Registeel because everything is resisted. I'm going to let this go through. It is an energy ball. Again, Jumpluff doesn't really have a very high attack stat as well, so it just doesn't really do anything at all. Going to go for the Flash Cannon here. Going to do quite a bit of neutral damage as it does there. And then just going to try and build up to another Flash Cannon right now. They are still staying in, which is pretty surprising, which tells me that they could probably have something else in the back, which is also weak to Registeel. Otherwise, they probably would have switched out already. And I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon here. And this is probably going to almost take out the Jumpluff from this range. Doesn't quite take it out. I mean, Jumpluff is extremely tanky. And yeah, just going to let this go through as well. Should be able to farm down and hopefully throw a move at whatever is going to come out next. It is just an aerial ace. I'm going to completely farm it down here. Let's see what they decide to come in with. They actually come in with their Whiscash, and I'm just going to go straight for the Focus Blast right now. It's going to do quite a bit of neutral damage, obviously. Going to do about 50% of its health if it goes unshielded, but does get the shield, which is fine. And they can't really farm us down from this range, right? So they're going to have to throw the Mud Bomb right now, which is okay. I'm going to let this go through, and I can just come in with my Jellicent. So Jellicent is a pretty decent response to Whiscash because all they can do is pretty much throw just like straight Mud Bombs, right? And I'm going to let this go through. Mud Bomb is, yeah, it's going to do okay neutral damage, but it isn't really worth the shield at this point. And I'm going to overfarm a little bit, and then I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball here. And this is going to do about 40 to 50% of Whiscash's health, as it does there. It does about 50% actually. And I'm going to let this go through as well. Probably just going to be another Mud Bomb. But yeah, they go for Blizzard, not sure why. I mean, doesn't really do that much damage as well. But they actually have a Beedrill in the back. This is where it gets really tricky, right? I mean, Machamp has such a poor matchup against Beedrill because these fighting type moves are double resisted because of the bug poison typing on Beedrill. And this is one of those matchups where having Rock Slide would really help, because if I had Rock Slide, I probably would have been able to get to it. But it's obviously a community day Machamp, and I don't really want to TM away the Payback. Yeah, I'm going to actually steal this up, and hopefully I can get to another Cross Chop and do a little bit of damage to it before I can get off another move. So I'm going to go for the Cross Chop right now. It isn't really going to do that much damage, obviously, because it's double resisted. And then, yeah, it's going to come in with my Jellicent here. Hopefully I can get to a Shadow Ball as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get it, and it's it's going to be a GG there. So, I mean, Beedrill in the back can be pretty difficult to handle. I mean, it is okay. I mean, Jellicent is a pretty decent response to it. So is Registeel, but obviously Machamp without Rock Slide doesn't really have too much play against it, right? Unless obviously you manage to land a payback on it, which... So anyways, moving on to the next battle here, we have Registeel into a Drifblim here. So this is a pretty decent matchup actually, because Flash Cannon is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage to Drifblim. And I believe Registeel wins in all even shielding scenarios against Drifblim. And Charge Move coming through, I'm going to let it go through. This is probably at best going to be a Shadow Ball, which is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage, but it ends up being an Icy Wind Shield Bait, which is even better actually. So I'm going to try and go for this Flash Cannon as soon as possible here. Again, I'm not going to shield this. It's fine. I'm okay losing Switch advantage as long as I have shield advantage, because Shadow Machamp does really well with a shield advantage towards endgame, right? So I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon here. And then, yeah, does quite a bit of neutral damage actually. I mean, doesn't do that much because of the Icy Wind debuff. But Charge Move coming through, if it is just an Icy Wind, it's not going to take us out, right? They're going to have to go for a Shadow Ball here, but they go for another Icy Wind Shield Bait. And I'm going to be able to get to a Flash Cannon just in time. Let's see if this gets the second shield from the Drifblim. And it actually doesn't get the second shield, but doesn't, I mean, almost takes it out. Unfortunately, we lose switch advantage, which is fine. So I'm going to come in with my Jellicent here, and then I know this is just going to be an Icy Wind, right? This is probably like a little too soon to be a Shadow Ball. It's just an Icy Wind, which is great. I'm going to let it go through, and I'm going to be able to farm it down here. And they actually come in with their Mandibuzz. Immediately going to switch into my Machamp right now and try and go for the Cross Chops here. So this is again another one of those matchups where Rock Slide really helps. And obviously, I think Rock Slide is probably the more recommended moveset as far as Shadow Machamp is concerned, but obviously Payback can catch a few Ghost types and Psychic types off guard, right? So I'm going to go for the Cross Chop. It's going to do quite a bit of neutral damage because of the Dark Flying typing, and obviously Mandibuzz is extremely tanky. I'm going to shield this up as well because the Aerial Ace is probably going to one-shot the Shadow Machamp from pretty much any range actually. So I'm going to go for another Cross Chop here and really trying to take it out before they can get to another Aerial Ace right now. And really trying to build up to another Cross Chop right now. And yeah, they get to an Aerial Ace just before we can get to a Cross Chop, right? But yeah, fortunately enough, we barely survived the Aerial Ace here. I mean, Aerial Ace is such a terrible move, right? And obviously, Mandibuzz doesn't really have such a high attack stat. So Cross Chop should be able to take it out. I'm immediately going to switch into my Jellicent, and they have a Registeel in the back, and this is pretty much GG's right now, right? I mean, everything Registeel has is resisted or double resisted by Jellicent, while Shadow Ball is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage in this matchup. So Shadow Ball is going to do quite a bit there. They are still staying in, which is okay. But we should be able to get to another Shadow Ball before they can get to two Flash Cannons, right? Charge Move coming through. It's going to be a Flash Cannon here. And then, yeah, I'm going to be able to get to another Shadow Ball here. And again, Registeel is extremely tanky as well. So it's probably not going to take it out. It's going to come close to taking it out. But we still have a Machamp in the back and a Charge Move coming through. It's going to be a Flash Cannon again. We're going to barely able to survive it. Obviously, it's resisted because of the water typing, and I should be able to take it out there. Even if my Jellicent had gone down, one counter from my Shadow Machamp should have been able to take it out there. But it was pretty comfortable nevertheless there. So this team is actually really strong. It's kind of an anti-Registeel team because we have like two kind of hard counters, right? I mean, you can probably say Jellicent is kind of a soft counter to Registeel, and obviously Machamp is a real hard counter to it. So anyways, moving on to the next battle here. These are obviously some of the battles that I put together from multiple sets. Most of them were like pretty close wins, and there were some tough losses as well. So we have Registeel into a Medicham here. So I'm still actually going to stay in because this team only has one hard counter to a Medicham. I mean, Machamp obviously doesn't have a great matchup against it as well. So I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon here. It does quite a bit of neutral damage this. And then it's going to try and build up to another Flash Cannon right now. And then I believe this is one of those battles where I accidentally did an open Great League battle, if I'm not mistaken. I think, yeah, it could be that because I don't think this Medicham is banned in the Remix Cup, right? If I'm not mistaken there. So I probably forgot to sort of edit it out. But anyways, I think this is one of those open Great League battles. I'm going to go for the Flash Cannon here. This team is actually pretty solid in open Great League as well, right? It's a real anti-meta team comp because Jellicent is obviously can handle Registeel and Azumarill. You have Machamp which can handle you have Galarian, Stunfisk, and probably other steel types as well. And I'm going to be able to farm it down with Jellicent here, and then let's see what they come in with. They actually come in with their Azumarill. Yeah, this is an open Great League battle. So I don't know how that managed to slip in there, but anyways, we're going to go through with it anyways. I'm just going to try and go for another Shadow Ball here. It's going to do quite a bit of neutral damage again against Azumarill. Again, Jellicent, the fact that they brought out their Azumarill against my Jellicent tells me that they don't really have a response to Jellicent in the back. And I'm actually going to shield this because I want to preserve my Jellicent for whatever is in the back, right? But they actually make a switch into their Bastiodon. We have a Machamp here, and this is absolutely GG's right now. I mean, come to think of it, this team could probably be even better as far as Open Great League is concerned because it's got perfect counters against majority of the meta, right? And Azumarill's going to come back in. They're going to, it's just GG's right now because we still have a loaded Jellicent in the back, and there's no way they're going to come back from that, right? So anyways, moving on to the next battle here. Okay, moving on to the next battle here, we have Registeel into a Darmanitan, right? This is a really spicy pick as far as the Remix Cup is concerned. Immediately going to save switch in my Shadow Machamp here, and they actually come in with the Gengar. I'm going to go straight for the Payback right now. Let's see if we can land a Payback, and it just one-shots the Gengar there. That is absolutely beautiful. And then Darmanitan comes back in. They're going to try and farm us down, but oh my god, that is like so much damage right there. So we're going to come in with my Jellicent, farm down the Darmanitan there, and they have an Empoleon in the back, and this is GG's right now, right? I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball, and this is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage against Empoleon, and we still have a full health Registeel in the back. So they actually let the Shadow Ball go through. I'm not sure why. They probably thought it was a Bubble Beam or something, but anyways, I'm going to shield this up, and yeah, it's just pretty much GG's right now, right? Yeah, I'm just going to probably be able to farm it down completely. Not even going to throw a move because they still have 2 shields. I'm going to be able to farm it down and take the win there. So, again, okay, moving on to the final battle here. We have Registeel into a Mew right now. This is kind of a neutral matchup. This, I mean, depending on what moveset Mew has. I mean, most Mews run with Flame Charge and Wild Charge, and that in that case, it's not a great matchup for Registeel, obviously. But I'm going to let the first one go through because we can survive a Flame Charge. But it just ends up being a Surf, which is really good. Cannon here, and let's see if they want to give up their first shield right now, and yeah, they do shield that up, which is okay. And at this point, I'm going to try and build up to another Flash Cannon here, and then I was almost able to get to it. This is where I actually made a bit of a mistake. I should have actually shielded this and tried to win switch advantage, because you'll see that in this matchup, winning switch advantage is absolutely crucial, right? So I'm going to come in with my Jellicent, completely farm it down here. But they have an Obstagoon in the back. Going to switch into my Machamp right now, and let's see. And they have a Nidoqueen in the back, right? So this would have been perfect. I could have lined up my Jellicent against their Nidoqueen and my Machamp against their Obstagoon, and which is why I probably should have definitely shielded my Registeel there. But this is going to be a really tricky matchup to overcome, right? Because Nidoqueen resists all the fighting type moves because of that poison typing, and I'm going to shield this up, and then I'm just going to try and go for another cross chop as soon as possible. And unfortunately, our defense has been lowered as well, and Shadow Machamp is glassy as such, on top of the fact that if the defense is lowered, it becomes even more glassy, right? Unfortunately, they're able to farm us down here, and my only win condition right now is to come in with my Jellicent and completely farm it down. I'm gonna actually let this go through. I'm really hoping this is just a Poison Fang, and yeah, I just basically need to land 2 Ice Beams onto the Obstagoon, right? I'm going to completely try and farm it down here. But they actually make a switch into their Obstagoon. Going to try and go for the first Ice Beam. I'm going to shield this up, right, because our defense has been lowered. And Night Slash would probably one-shot the Jellicent from this range. And I'm going to try and go for an Ice Beam here. I'm going to do quite a bit of neutral damage against Obstagoon, but I'm definitely going to need another one, right? Because these Ghost type moves are triple resisted because of that Dark normal typing. And I'm trying to get to an Ice Beam. I think, unfortunately, I ended up over-tapping there, or I think we probably lost CMP tie. But Night Slash is going to take out my Jellicent, and that's GG's right there. Probably should have been able to win that, actually. I mean, if I'd landed the Ice Beam, then Nidoqueen is probably 1 hex away from being taken out there, right? But nevertheless, it was a pretty close battle. I mean, this was like the second set of battles, I think, where I went like 4-1. So 3-2, beg your pardon. I had like 2 sets of battles. I went 4-1 and 3-2. But I definitely feel like this team, you can definitely get multiple 5-0 sets with this team, right? I am certainly looking forward to trying out more more battles as far as the Remix Cup is concerned with this team comp. Obviously, this team works in Open Great League as well. But I'll definitely try and bring out more spice picks as the season progresses. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.